Good evening, Plainfield Middle School band kids. I'm very excited to get to meet you guys. I am Mrs. Stepp. I'm going to be your new middle school band teacher next year. And I've been talking to Mr. Cummings about, well, because of this virus, I can't get into the classroom to meet you guys. I was supposed to come in a few weeks ago, but with all this virus stuff going on, they closed schools, and obviously I couldn't meet you that way. So we decided let's just do an assignment, and I can introduce myself, talk to you a little bit about who I am and what I do, and also ask you guys some questions so I can get to know you a little bit before we get together in August. So I actually student taught with Mr. Cummings 7 years ago. I had the opportunity to work with Plainfield Middle School Band during that time, and I loved it. I absolutely loved my time there, and I told myself that if I ever had the chance to have a position to work there, I would. And so when I heard that Mr. Cummings was retiring, of course I was sad because Mr. Cummings and I are pretty good friends. But I was also excited to have the chance to maybe get back to Plainfield. So I'm very blessed and very excited to get back to Plainfield. And I am going to do my absolute best to fill in Mr. Cummings' shoes as best as I can. But I know I'll never be able to be exactly what Mr. Cummings is. So I know that you guys are sad that he's leaving, and I know you've got a lot of great memories with him. But I hope that we can continue building on the things that you've already learned and make some more memories together. So I guess a little bit more about me. After I student taught, I got a job at South Vermilion Schools. I've been teaching middle school and high school band for the past 7 years. And with this school, we're a lot smaller than Plainfield, maybe a quarter of the size, a third of the size. So I do middle school and high school because I have fewer classes with fewer students. But I also do high school there, so I've been doing marching band and pep band and concert band, so I know all about that stuff. And it's been a big part of my life for a long time, and I'm hoping to continue working with the high school on some levels for that stuff to help Mr. Carpenter. So if you're an 8th grader, I still am excited to get the chance to work with you guys at the high school some next year as well. Those of you in 6th and 7th grade, obviously I can't wait to get into the classroom with you guys next year and make some music together. Very excited about that. With my time here, I've learned a lot, and I am really going to miss my students, but there's several great reasons about why to come to Plainfield. It's a great school, great people. I love the staff. I love the community when I student taught. So I'm very excited to be there with you guys next year. But before we get to next year, I want to get to know you guys a little bit, and there's a ton of you. So in order to use our time today, I'm going to be asking you guys several questions, so bear with me. Question number 1. What is your best memory of band? So couple things for you guys. So my favorite memory of band for me is, there's a few, so I'll give you a few of mine, and then if you have more than one, awesome, feel free to share, but you only have to share one. So one, as a teacher, my favorite memory was after our marching band won state finals in Scholastic B a couple years ago. I got to watch my students celebrate together. It was the first time that our school had ever won anything state finals level. So it was a really cool thing for the community to come together and really see how great band was, and get to celebrate with my students and see them be so happy with all the hard work they had put in. So that's my favorite as a teacher for sure. As a student, I was a student at Northview Schools, and so I was the drum major my senior year at Northview and a marching band kid, and we won state finals my senior year, and I will never forget that moment of celebrating with my teachers and my friends and family for a great year, but just being able to realize that we had done that as a family and celebrating that together was really cool. Question number 2, favorite thing about Mr. Cummings. What is your favorite thing about Mr. Cummings? And it might go along with the memory that you shared for number 1. I have a couple things. So when I was student teaching, I like to do a lot of goofy stuff sometimes. And one day I just said, hey, if I ask the teachers ahead of time, can I go in and play during people's classes? So during our planning time when we didn't have a band class going on, I grabbed my saxophone one day, and I had planned out. I remember I definitely asked the art teacher. I can't remember what other class I went into. But I just said, can I pop in your class and, do kind of a little prank on the students and just see what they say. And so Mr. Cummings and I bolted into the art classroom and a couple other classes, and I just stepped onto the tables and started playing my saxophone and watching some of the students' faces, especially the kids that were in band who knew me. It was pretty entertaining. So that was a great memory with Mr. Cummings. We've shared many laughs about that. Another one is that when I got married, And I'm not sure that he knows this one. He might be finding out now, but I actually wanted to ask him to be my man of honor for my wedding, but I thought he might think that was a little weird. Instead of me having a maid of honor, Mr. Cummings was very close at that time in my life, and he's still a great friend. But he was still a part of my wedding. He was an usher, and I'm very grateful that he was able to share that memory with my husband and I. So, your favorite memory about Mr. Cummings. Number 3, what is something that you still wish to learn music-wise? Maybe it's a different instrument, a song, a type of music, um, anything that you still want to learn, something that you look forward to. So my thing that I definitely would like to get better at is guitar. That's one of them. I've always thought it would be super cool to be able to just stand up and play the electric guitar. I know how to play chords. I can play some stuff, but I'm not great, so that would probably be my musical aspiration. What is something you still want to learn with music? Question number 4. What makes band special? What do you think makes band more special than any other class that you guys take during the day? And I'm not going to give you my answer on that because I don't want you stealing it because I think it's a good one. Question number 5. So, some of you may be considering not doing band next year as a high school student if you're an 8th grader. Some may not have even thought about what high school brings for you, but having a chance to see the kind of stuff that the high school band kids do, what are some things that make you really excited to do high school band, whether it's marching band or just band as a class, jazz band? Obviously, when you get to the high school, you keep getting better and better, and so there's different things that you have the opportunity to do. So I'm excited to hear what some of those things might be. If you don't think that you want to continue band in high school, I would also love to hear about why, just so I get to learn a little bit more about the program and what your thoughts are, and maybe have a chance to sway you one way or the other. I want to hear about your top 10. Top 10 favorite things of all time. What are the top 10 most important things to you? So my top 5, I'll give you my top 5 right now, would be my faith, my family, my friends, food, of course, music would definitely be in my top 5. And then, of course, there's several more things that are going to be important to you beyond that. But what are your top 10 things that are just most important to you in your life right now? So last question for you guys, and it's a 2-parter. If you had 24 hours to spend with one person who was still alive today, if you had 24 hours to spend the day with one person who is still alive, who would that be? And if you had 24 hours to spend the day with someone who is no longer living, who would that be? So my person who is still alive that I would want to hang out with is Ellen DeGeneres, because she gives people stuff all the time and just likes to have fun, and I think she'd be a blast to hang out with, and she has all the money that I could just be like, hey, people, you need stuff, here you go. I just think that would be a great way to spend 24 hours. With someone who has passed, there's obviously tons of people that we would love to hear from and talk to. But I would love to have a day to go back to one of my grandparents who has passed away, my grandpa Matson. He was a pastor for many years, but I was younger when he passed away, so I didn't get to know him as well as I would have liked. So if you had 24 hours, somebody who's alive, someone who is not, who would you spend it with? Hope you guys have kind of enjoyed this weird question series. And again, I am Mrs. Stepp. I can't wait to work with you guys and be your band teacher next year. I hope that you have fun with these questions, but I also hope that you really think about this a little bit, because I'm going to get to know you a little bit first through these. So again, I am looking forward to seeing you guys all in August. Have a great rest of your e-learning time and a great rest of your summer.